Hey guys, it's Ian here. um, I have not. I didn't really do this in a. I mean, when after I watched this movie, but I kind of wanted to talk about one of my favorite movies, and I think you guys can guess because I'm wearing my Spider-Man shirt today. Yeah, I want to talk about how Spider-Man: Far From Home is my favorite Spider-Man movie, and how Tom Holland does a good job doing Spider-Man, and also, Tom Holland, if you're watching this, I'm a big fan of you, man. And goes for you too, Angry Rice. And her character, Betty Brant's one of my favorite. But other than that, I want to talk about how Spider-Man Far From Home is my favorite Spider-Man movie. But I watched it like a while ago in the summertime over summer vacation. But just to let you know, there's spoilers ahead, so I'll put that in the title. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, don't watch this. Don't watch this video. So anyway, I'm gonna because I'm gonna talk about the whole movie, and I might even talk about stuff that I didn't like about the movie. But it all starts out with I think they were I don't know if they were in Mexico or New Mexico. I don't remember. I'm planning to watch it again. Um, Nick Fury and Maria Hill go into Mexico, and then they see like there's this it looks like a twister hit the building, and then all of a sudden, sorry about that. Um, and all of a sudden, like all of a sudden, there's this huge rock monster that looks like Korg. He comes in and tries to destroy the place, and then all of a sudden, Quentin Beck, his name is, aka Mysterio, which I did not like this character until he went evil. But he goes, you don't want any part of this. You don't want any part of this. And then he tries to like fight it and all, and then I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston starts playing when the intro to the Marvel Studios thingy comes up, and then it shows in memory. I can't remember the name, the word, but it shows Black Widow, Iron Man, and Captain America, and Betty Brant comes up and says, "Gone but not forgotten." Captain America, well, I guess you can count him as gone because he retired in Avengers Endgame. Anyway, um, um, Also, if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, you probably shouldn't be watching this. But basically, Betty and Jason, I guess they're the head of like school news. They talk about what happened throughout the year. Jason had to bleep out on him, and then Betty reminds him to not swear, which was funny. And then and then Betty explains that she's played by Angry Rice. Um, if you're watching this, Angry Rice, I'm a big fan of your character. Did a great job. Anyway, I'm gonna just get back on. Anyway, she talked about how everyone vanished one day during a game or something because of Thanos' snap with the snap of the gauntlet. Apparently, whoever didn't vanish, whoever didn't vanish, apparently grew 5 years older because it was like 5 years ago when it happened, or yeah, like that, and then apparently they talk about how crazy the school year was and all that. And then Peter Parker. Sorry, my neck is itchy. And then Peter Parker and Ned Leeds. Ned Leeds is his last name. Peter Parker is played by, I already said, Tom Holland, and Ned Leeds is played by Jacob Ballaton or something like that. He's his best buddy. They're Peter's telling them about his plan, how to impress MJ, his new love interest, because Liz did not work out apparently. But I didn't think she would. But now at least he's trying to find a new girl though, and he makes a plan like until they get to the Eiffel Tower and they go up there together. He's gonna tell her how he feels. But anyway, they were gonna go on this trip, and apparently later on, Peter's with his Spider-Man Iron Spider-Man, his Iron Spider suit on stage with his aunt, Aunt May, because he told her. Remember in Spider-Man: Homecoming, he told her that he's the Spider-Man, and she was about to f-bomb. But I'm sure she did. It just didn't see it happen, and then eventually Happy Hogan wanted Spider-Man because Nick Fury wanted to talk to Spider-Man, but he put Nick Fury to voicemail because he didn't want to talk to Nick Fury. But then people like wanted to get like ask him Spider-Man questions and all that, and he goes like, "I gotta go, cause I'm going on vacation," and funny how Nay calls it the spider tingle, because Peter Lee, excuse me, sorry, he leaves his spider suit behind, and then sorry, he leaves his spider suit behind, and then because he thinks he's not gonna need it, and then he's on an airplane, and he wants to sit next to MJ on the airplane, who in the Spider-Man Homecoming they called her Michelle, but at the end she reveals that her friends call her MJ because that's Michelle Jones, yeah, and she's already sitting with Betty, and Peter's sitting with Ned, and then Peter had an idea. He goes up and he tells Betty that he has a perfume allergy and someone's wearing perfume in front. So he tries to offer, like, because he uses his strategies. And he also had to look out for this other kid, Brad Davis, because apparently he wants all the girls are like, he's getting all the girls attracted to him. And apparently, I think Flash tried to like say something to Peter, and then Michelle like stood up for Peter, saying, "You were in the blip." And Flash Thompson is his last name. Yeah, Thompson. But then the teacher comes up. Can't remember his name, but he comes. And there's another teacher too. I can't remember his name either. But the teacher said that he said that to sit with Peter, and MJ Ned was gonna sit by Betty, and then Betty's like all weirded out by Ned or something, and then until they finally actually start getting along and then become a couple. And MJ is next to Brad Davis, and then they start laughing and watching a movie. And apparently, the teacher was telling Peter how his wife blipped out or something during the blip. I guess that's why they call it the blip. And then they arrive, like I think it was Germany, and then Flash was taking some photos with some people, and then someone like punches him in the hits him in the crotch, which is funny. And as they're like on a boat together, it turns out Ned and Betty are girlfriend and boyfriend now, and which is funny. And then all of a sudden, apparently Peter was gonna get something for MJ, and they run into each other at the shop. I can't remember what I think he was trying to get her a necklace or something. I can't remember, a bracelet. But until this water creature comes out of nowhere, out of the ocean, and then Peter is like hopping everywhere without his spider suit, and then all of a sudden Mysterio shows up and takes that the the water monster down, and then they're watching this on TV on the news, and then Flash is like talking about Spider-Man and all, and they're like, "What is it with you and Spider-Man?" He goes, I don't have anything with Spider-Man. He's just awesome," is all, and he looks at him and says, "What's up?" He calls him something I'm not gonna even say because I don't want to get demonetized because it's swearing and all. But anyway, later that evening, Peter was struggling because he really wants to talk to MJ and tell her how he feels, um, he goes, "It reminds me when me and Betty fell in love," and then all of a sudden someone tranquilizes him with this little dart, and he falls on his bed. It was Nick Fury. Somehow he managed to get in, and then Peter had to shut his door, and then when the teacher comes in and asks him something, and then apparently somehow he didn't see Nick Fury, and then Betty comes up and then asks for Ned, and then Peter tells her that he's asleep. She didn't even open the door though, but other than that, Nick Fury takes Spider-Man, and turns out he had his spider suit apparently, and and they go into the sewer area, and that's Maria Hill was there, and everyone else was there, and then that works with them. Quentin Beck was there, but people for some reason call him Mysterio, and oh yeah, and that place that they were in, the apartment that they were in, that looked like a restaurant or something. They said it smelled like fish paste or something, blech, or cod. But anyway, apparently, um, Peter and Quentin Beck shake hands, and then he explains what's going on, and the elements from Earth, and they're probably going to destroy the world. And then he thought, what about we get Thor? But Nick Fury says, off world. And then he goes, what about Doctor Strange? And he goes, unavailable, Maria Hill said. He goes, what about Captain Marvel? And then I could have sworn it said, don't provoke her name or something like that. I can't remember that, but um, Nick Fury reminded him that Peter has been to space and all, and then later on, eventually, Quentin and apparently later on the next day, they're like traveling, and I'm gonna have to watch the movie again, but apparently, Peter's gets called into this room, and then this lady with an accent tells him to take his clothes off to get his suit on, and he takes his pants off, and then has his underwear on though. But Brad comes in, and then he takes a photo of him, and then he tells him, "What are you doing? Why'd you do that?" And he's like, and he somehow Brad figures out that he's trying to impress MJ, and he goes like, "Well, I like her too," and he goes like. But until she finds out that you're trying to make out with that girl, like, please don't. He goes like, "I'm sorry, Peter, but she has to know." I disliked this character honestly, and then turns out Tony Stark had left the Edith glasses for Peter Parker, and Peter Parker kind of looks like Tony Stark almost, and he was going to use those glasses to like stop Brad from showing. He was going to delete the photo, but then all of a sudden Flash comes up and takes the glasses and puts them on. He looked funny, and then Peter accidentally knocks him out, and then Peter manages to do something. And then all of a sudden he was going to stop the drone, and then apparently everyone was like, "What's going on, Peter?" And he goes, "Look, baby mountain goats." I think that's what he said. And then he jumps up in the air and then takes out the drone, and then somehow manages to delete the photo of the of him that Brett took a photo of him. And like I was like, "I guess you guys missed it." And then they didn't see. Sorry, they didn't see any mountain goats or anything, but and then MJ's like, "Where's that picture?" And he was like, "What? It was just right here." And then made it look like a fool or something. But then, um, and later that evening, apparently they were gonna. I don't really remember all of this movie, but some parts here and there. But they were about to go into a theater. They were dressed up. Pierce tells MJ that she looks pretty, and she goes, "Therefore, I have value." And she goes, "I'm just kidding. You look pretty too." I'm like, "What? I call him pretty?" Then apparently he was like, "Can you tell them that I'm sick or something?" Because he had to like head out or something to like fight crime and all with Mysterio. And then as he left, Ned and Betty were sitting together. And then as Peter was leaving, not Flash, Brad Thompson. Sorry, Brad Davis is his name. Brad Davis, I think. He sees him. He sees Peter leaving, and he just looks at him and just flicks his middle finger at him. Brad flicked his middle finger at Peter Parker, and that I did not like. I didn't appreciate him just flipping his middle finger at him. But then, um, he gets there, and then he's wearing a black suit, black Spider-Man suit, and then they try fighting this huge monster that's made of lava. And earlier, Peter how he wanted told Quentin Beck about some stuff, and how he wanted to impress a girl he likes, and all. And Quentin Beck says he's a good kid, Peter. I'm glad I met you. And then they're tried fighting that thing, and then turns out and then MJ ended up being there, and then Ned, and then she runs, and then and Ned and what was her name, Betty. They were on a what's that thing called? Ferris wheel. Excuse me. Ferris wheel, and then excuse me, guys. Sorry. They were. She was like, "Who is that? Is that the Spider-Man?" And he goes like, "Oh no!" And then Ned goes, "No, I think that's Night Monkey." They call him Night Monkey, and like, "Night Monkey, help! Night Monkey, help!" Because the monster was about to come, but somehow they managed to get it pulled away, and then I don't really remember how they defeated it probably with its weakness, yeah. And then um, so yeah, they basically saved Ned and Betty. They got off safely, and MJ got away safely, and then Mysterio asks, "Want to go get a drink?" And then to Spider-Man or Peter, and then Peter's like, "No, I'm not 21. I'm not 21." And then they just hang out there, and then they just he's Mysterio's drinking, but excuse me, Peter's like drinking lemonade or something, and then they talk about life and all. Oh, sorry. Then eventually after Peter leaves, turns out it was kind of like a setup or something, and then that's when Quentin Beck yells, "Someone get this stupid costume off me!" and then he has crew with him. Turns out Quentin Beck was fired by Tony Stark, and turns out he was there was a flashback in Captain America's Civil War, and then one of Quentin's workers, crew members that he was with, or blah 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 or something like that. He worked with Ironmonger apparently in the first Iron Man movie. Flashback to Iron Man in 2008. He got yelled at by the Ironmonger guy when he yells, "Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave," and it goes to Tony Stark to Peter. Turns out, and later on, turns out that they were working. Turns out all of it was fake. They were like doing it kind of like in a little theater room, working on it and all. And turns out that they were all fake and all. But anyway, he was making a plan to take Peter down. He wanted to kill him, but he had a plan. But other than that, Peter got back to the hotel. He wanted to take MJ out on a walk, and then Brad sees them leave, and then turns out MJ had already knew he was Spider-Man, and Peter was about to say, MJ, I have to tell you something. And then she goes, am Spider-Man. They go, wait, no, I'm not. And she goes, I mean, it's kind of obvious. And then turns out she had something in her backpack that was an important item, and then that's when Peter said, I am Spider-Man, and then he told her what was going on and all, and he told Ned too, and Ned probably told his girlfriend Betty too, who knows. The next day, Peter was with Nick Fury, and then they go into this office, and then all of a sudden, that's when everything goes down. That's when all of a sudden it looked like Fury got shot, but he didn't get shot because Fury was not actually there, neither was Maria Hill. Because then Peter eventually gets trapped in an illusion by Mysterio, and he explained why he created Mysterio, and turns out Mysterio had set him up, and then he goes, maybe if Tony was still alive, maybe you would be good, better enough, and then he made it look like a zombie Iron Man came out of the grave, and on the grave said Anthony Edwards Stark, and then Peter looked at it, and then all of a sudden a huge zombie Iron Man pops out of the ground, and then tries getting him, and eventually a bunch of Spider-Man's topple on him, and then he sees that Mysterio had MJ in his clutches, and he threw her off the tower, but all this is not real, it's just an illusion that Peter's having. It reminded me of how Batman has been having a series of illusions and flashbacks from the Scarecrow after the Scarecrow sprayed him with all that stuff, but it don't what Batman was going through with the Scarecrow, it only lasted for about a minute or a few seconds, and after he lit him on fire, Batman ran off, and then he passed out eventually after it was raining on him, and then he dropped and rolled, and then fire was gone, and then he passed out, and then Alfred went. He tried calling Alfred to get him, and then Alfred got him, and then wakes up in his bed. But this time, apparently, they thought that they got rid of Quentin, but then it was Nick Fury, and then Peter tries telling him the whole thing that he told a girl, MJ, about the whole thing, and he told Ned, and he said he probably told his girlfriend Betty, and then Fury tells him you're so gullible, and then turns out it was Quentin Beck, Mysterio, tricking him again, and then playing mind games with them, and I feel like this illusion has lasted for like 2 or 3 minutes or something. I'm like, when is this gonna end? I know this is like, it's really well set up and all, but still, it's going on forever, man. And then it looked like Peter got ran over by a train, but he didn't really get hit by a train. He he was he eventually manages to get inside and then passes out, and then wakes up in a jail and walks out and asks someone. He was in the Netherlands. He asked someone to use his phone. Turns out everyone was so nice there, and then he calls Happy Hogan, and then he ends up in a flower field, and he goes like, "Happy, is it you? Is it you?" He thinks he was still having another one of those illusions, but it turns out he was out of the illusions, and Peter was like freaking out. Happy tells him to relax, and he's like, "Don't tell me to relax. I've messed up so bad. Please don't tell me to relax." And he goes, "I'm sorry," and then really he apologizes to Happy, and then he explains what he's going through, and he starts crying because he said, everywhere I go, I see Iron Man's face, Tony Stark's face everywhere, or Mr. Stark's face everywhere. I miss him so much, and his eyes were red because he was crying, because, yeah, literally everywhere he would go, he would see Iron Man everywhere, and he would see people remembering Iron Man, and it would make him think of his mentor, Tony Stark, and now he's accepting his death, Tony Stark's death. Yeah, now he's going through this emotional state, which really killed me to see him like this. And Happy's all like, I miss him too. And then they made up a plan because then Quentin said he was going to originally kill his Peter Parker's friends, and then apparently they pumped up a song by AC/DC, Back in Black, and then Peter's like, I love Led Zeppelin, and then that's AC/DC, not Led Zeppelin. And then it's really cool how Peter Parker started making his own suit, just like now people are saying he could be the world's next Iron Man or something like that. And yeah, it looked great. And I was pretty mad about what Mysterio did to Peter. He's one of my least favorite villains. I hate him so much. Made me mad. I think there was a scene where he had a stupid grin on his face, and when I was watching in the theater, I frowned. I just frowned. I just had to. And I felt like Thor right after Thor. Remember when Thanos killed Heimdall, and Thor told Thanos that he's gonna die for that. And what Mysterio was doing to Peter and his friends and what he did to him, and I thought to myself, and I was like telling him, you're gonna die for that. And I kind of wanted him, I really wanted him gone. I did not like this villain. But yeah, one of the parts I don't like about the movie, and I did not like Brad Davis either. I didn't like how he middle fingered Peter, and I felt like he had two school enemies now. Like he had Brad Davis trying to stop Peter from impressing MJ, and you know who else he had? Peter also had Flash attacking him on the other hand. But Flash, I think, is still funny though. Called him Penis Parker in Spider-Man: Homecoming, but anyway, apparently Peter's friends and teachers, they arrived in London and over the bridge, and then it looks like that rock dude was about to pounce on them. Quentin Beck was controlling everything, and Happy tried calling Nick Fury. Nick Fury wouldn't believe him, and Spider-Man arrived flying. He had a glider now, and he knew what to do, and he thought it looked real, but Peter's friends ran, and turns out that bus was like a trap or something, and then Happy rounds up Peter's friends, then he goes like, I work with Spider-Man, and Flash is like, you work for Spider-Man? He goes, I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. And then he goes, I got a jet, and then all of a sudden the jet explodes because it got shot. And it goes like, all right, new plane, and then they go to the museum, and then they have to look out for those drone thingies, and they had to hide, and then eventually MJ uses her smarts to like take out one of the drones, and then they make a run for it. They thought they weren't going to make it out, but they did, and Peter was taking out drones like crazy, and then Quentin saw the whole thing, and this made him mad. And like, Quentin, you're going to die for this, bro. Quentin Beck. And then all of a sudden, Peter goes in and then tries taking on Quentin Beck, and then eventually he starts getting trapped in another illusion, and then he goes, do the spider tinkle, even though he told Nay not to call it that, because he did not like that at first, but now he does now. And then, um, that he was getting in the illusion again, and then it didn't work on again because he's like, "You can't trick me anymore. You lied to me." And then he goes, "Execute all the drones," and then eventually, somehow after executing the drones and taking Mysterio down, Mysterio says a few of his last words. I think can't remember what they were, and then all of a sudden, his breathing came to an end, and he did not close his eyes because whatever that stuff was that he had with him, and the drones and all that he had in him, would not let him close his eyes or something. And then the Edith glasses said all systems were down. That means Quiddebeck was dead. I'm like, finally, I told him he was gonna die for that. And then Peter finds MJ, and then they kiss, and then eventually later on they're like walking, holding hands as they were gonna go home. In the song titled by the Ramones, the song is by the Ramones. It's a good song. It's titled "I Want to Be Your Boyfriend." It's a good song. It was playing while they were walking together, holding hands, and then eventually Peter asks Ned and Betty if they'd like to go on a double date with him and MJ. Turns out they reveal that they broke up, apparently, and um, sorry, I'm a little itchy. Apparently, later on, turns out Peter was talking in his room to Happy Hogan and his aunt, and he said that um, and I thought this would end up like Tony Stark like in the first Iron Man, but it didn't. And then where he says, "I am Iron Man." I thought he was in a room talking to people about the revealing that he's Spider-Man, but he does not do that. But he was in the room with just his aunt and Happy. It turns out, I think Happy and his aunt were dating. Because earlier he complimented on how May was looking and all. And then the movie ends with Peter Parker in a new Spider-Man suit, and he's with MJ. They're like swinging around in the in the in the city, and as he was about to go, he was telling MJ that he would be there, and then MJ's running him, "Don't text and swing," and then they were swinging, having fun, and then the credits started rolling, reminding me of the Spider-Man Homecoming credits. And then the song playing during the Spider-Man Far From Home credits were "Vacation" by the Go-Go's, which is a good song. Vacation, all I ever wanted. Vacation, had to get away. And then the mid-credits scene, turns out there was something on the news that Spider-Man was responsible for Mysterio's death, and then Quentin Beck was talking on this camera, and then they reminded him, don't watch, if you can't watch this, if you, be warned that this next part might be a little disturbing. And then this made me even madder. Like, I thought after he said this, I'm like, I hate that guy so much. I hate him so much. I hate Mysterio so much, because you know what he did? He revealed that Spider-Man's real name's Peter Parker, and then he even showed Peter Parker's face on the screen, and then people started taking pictures, and I liked how Spider-Man did this, and he goes, "What the?" And he was about to F-bomb, and then all I heard was the thud part, and then and the credits started rolling after it happened, and then he was shocked, because who knows what's going to happen now in the next Spider-Man movie, because now people are going to know he's Peter Parker, because thanks to freaking Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio, made him such an idiot. Anyway, um, if you guys want to know, this could be my first YouTube channel, and excuse me, then after the credits, Nick Fury and Maria Hill were driving in a car, and then all of a sudden, it turns out it was those Skrulls, those green alien dudes from Captain Marvel, the whole time. And I'm starting to get the feeling throughout the whole Infinity Saga, MCU, throughout the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe series, or something like in every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie when Nick Fury and Maria Hill were there. I wonder if it was the Skrulls the whole time. Because then it revealed that Nick Fury was out on an island. Him and Maria Hill were on vacation. But turns out that was just like a billboard behind them because they were on a ship with all the the green Skrull people on a ship in a galaxy and far away in space, like in a galaxy far away. But this is not Star Wars, sorry. And I remember how Nick Fury was telling Spider-Man earlier in the movie, like, it's not a Star Wars reference. But anyway, I'm starting to get the feeling that's why they explain how Nick. Remember how we thought Nick Fury died in Captain America: Winter Soldier? Turns out he was still alive in Avengers: Age of Ultron. I'm starting to get the feeling that the real Nick Fury, that was not the real Nick Fury. That was probably one of the Skrulls or something, the Green Aliens, or maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just something. One of the Skrulls, and then the Skrulls might have escaped the grave or something like that and healed up fast because they're Skrulls. They're like aliens. Who knows? But other than that, I learned that from a video from Everything Always. Shout out to him. He does really good Marvel um, videos. I don't know what to expect in the next Spider-Man movie. I think Spider-Man might be still in the MCU because Disney and Sony might be working on an agreement. But other than that, this was the best Spider-Man film I've seen, the best movie of the summer, in my opinion. This is my number one favorite summer of 2019 movie. My favorite movie I saw over summer vacation. I give it 2 thumbs up. Puts a big smile on my face. I'm so excited when it comes out on DVD. I mean, I'm planning to watch it again, but I'm so excited for it to come out on DVD, and I'm so excited that they're gonna have probably a DVD pack of all 22 films for the Avengers Infinity Saga, Marvel Infinity Saga, like phases 1, 2, and 3, and I can't wait to get. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's what I want for my birthday or Christmas. But other than that, yeah. It was Spider-Man: Far From Home was one of my favorite Marvel movies, but it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I remember on the DVD cover of Spider-Man: Homecoming, it says best Spider-Man movie ever, but best Spider-Man ever, and I wonder what they're gonna say on the DVD cover of Spider-Man: Far From Home. But other than that, it was my favorite movie I saw over summer vacation, and Toy Story 4 is my second favorite movie I saw over summer vacation. But that's not a Marvel movie; that's a Disney Pixar movie. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos and reaction videos as always, and um and hopefully, you know what I wish. Sometimes I wish that all the Marvel Cinematic Universe actors and actresses, everyone that was in it, I hope they would come here where I live. I'm not gonna tell you where I live, but here in my town, and we could do a Marvel MCU convention, and I get to meet everyone, talk to them, and all. Like my two favorite characters in the Spider-Man Far From Home had to be Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, and Betty Brant. Um, Shout out to two of them, Tom Holland and Andrew or Angry Rice. If you two are watching this, you guys did a great job in the movie. Hopefully, I can meet you guys someday. And anyway, Andrew or Angry, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Um, Probably this is one of the longest um, videos I've filmed, but thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy Ian Preston, and peace out. Peace out, webheads. That's what Spider-Man probably would say, but peace out. Sorry. Anyway, peace out. Bye. Later.